Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market update for Wednesday, November the 20th. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, and probably more importantly, happy NVDA earnings day today. NVIDIA just reported. I'll go ahead and pull this up on the screen. And as you can see, womp womp, it's really not much so far. So this they reported, I guess right there, big flush down, straight back up, straight back down, straight back up. So we closed at about 145. It's at 142 right now. So really not that much to it. We have not had the conference call when I'm doing this video. And it looks like they crushed it on earnings. They crushed on bottom line and top line both. Everything looked really good to me. So not sure why it's down, other than the bar probably being set so high for NVIDIA. Talk about a stretch goal there. They are obviously the most dominant player in the field and AI and all that kind of stuff. So a lot is being expected out of them and their earnings. They have to really, really crush it to get any kind of reaction. The reason that this is important, not only if you have NVIDIA stock, but it also, of course, can help or hurt the NASDAQ overall. And right now, the NASDAQ is, I'm looking here, it's down 71 points. Not much. 20777 down to 20700. It's not much, right? So again, not a lot of reaction there. Again, the reason this is important is going forward, this can really give us some tailwind in the market to go higher, or really some headwind if they would have completely missed and guided lower and all that kind of stuff. It's like throwing cold water on the market, right? So far, that's not the case, and again, we are really kind of, let me jump back over here again. I'm really curious to see what happens here with the conference call. Again, we're down 3 or 4 points. It looks worse than it is. I wanted to get a granular level there and look at that. It's really not that bad. Anyway, we'll circle back around to that, but again, we are coming out of earnings season. NVIDIA is always a late cycle reporter. We've got Broadcom coming up in a couple of weeks. Palo Alto reported today too. Let's look real quick. Palo Alto, kind of the same thing. Big pop higher, drop lower. Had not had conference call yet, and then Snow much higher there, 130 to 152. Pretty nice move there. So we'll see. Overall, I don't think this affects the market much. It could have been a big determining factor of which way we're going to go over the next couple of weeks. But let's talk about that real quick. This is the 20th, so we do have more earnings coming out. We have got, let's see real quick, who do we have? I was looking, well, we got John Deere tomorrow. We got a couple of retailers, Ross and BJ's Wholesale Club. But anyway, scattered earnings here and next week as well. The biggest things, we always have hurdles or roadblocks or whatever to events coming up on the horizon. The next one is the 27th, where we have PCE, that's consumer expenditures. Personal consumption expenditures, PCE. This is what the Fed looks at most. That's kind of their number one data point that they look at. So that'll be very important next week, a week from today, to see what the chances of a rate cut and all that kind of stuff for the December meeting. So then that's next week. The week after, of course, we have payrolls here on the 6th. We have our next CPI report on the 11th. PPI on the 12th, and then drumroll, Fed meeting on December the 18th. Now, the Fed is, let's see if I've got my Fed Watch tool real quick. Here it is. So the Fed they came out, I guess it was last week, and said that, here it is. They said that they may not be as aggressive in cutting rates, or the time frame. The time frame is always flexible. They can stretch it out or bring it in, that kind of thing. What we want to watch is this percentage chance. Now, this about a week ago was at 62%. It's at 52% right now of a 25 basis point rate cut. So basically, it's a coin toss on that December 18th December 18th meeting, whether we get a rate cut or not. I still think we probably do, but again, that's why I'm showing you these different events coming up, because all those will help determine which way we go. Now, assuming that PCE comes in line, no surprises, CPI comes in line, payrolls come in line, PPI, all that stuff kind of comes in line or better, or worse, depending on how, which side it is. That will depend, that will determine what the Fed's going to do at that December meeting. But assuming all that stuff kind of comes in line and we get a rate cut, then we can expect the Santa rally and all that kind of stuff continuing into the end of the year. The one thing to think about here, and we'll look at some charts, is one, all these data points coming up, how the Fed's going to interpret that, what it's going to mean for the market. But also, and I'm bullish. I'm still on the bullish side here. But let's go out here and look real quick. If we go to, here's a 20-day chart. This was the election day, and then we're off to the moon here. Well, this is ES 6053 on the ES, and then we've come back down a good bit. This is the fire line there. As you can see, we broke the fire line there. We came back up. We tested it once, twice, 3, 4 times. We're coming back up to it again. Hopefully we can get through that and and get back up here sooner than later. I would like to get to a new all-time high and kind of set the stage for a run into the end of the year. Maybe not. Again, we've got a lot of stuff to a lot of hurdles to get past before we see if we're going to do that. But let's back this out to, and I'm just looking at the ES here. Let's back this out to a 1-year chart, and as you can see, lower left, upper right, it looks pretty good, right? I don't see a reason, and I'll clear that off. If you look at this, and I was talking about this in, I did a room session today at Simpler Trading. I was looking at this, and I said, if you were on a desert island and you had looked at the market in a year and you came back and you saw this, you would say, and today's the first day you saw this, you would say, man, I got to buy this. This is a great looking chart. Look at that pullback, 20-day moving average. We pulled up a little deeper there, but 20-day, 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 50-day, 20-day. So this is, this is the ebb and flow of the market in general, and you would expect that to keep going, right? I don't see a reason that this thing crashes and burns over here. I've heard some people saying, really much lower numbers, 4,000, 4,600, 4,700, 5,000 on the downside, way down there. You got to have a catalyst for that to happen, right? I don't see a catalyst. Now, if the Fed came in on the next meeting and says, you know what, we're not cutting rates, we're going to raise rates. And not only are we going to raise rates a little, we're going to raise them a lot, 100 basis points. Well, yeah, that's a whole different story. But outside of that, or outside of continued deluge of bad data coming in, or war escalating in the Ukraine, that kind of thing, that is a very legitimate possibility, I suppose. But anyway, we have to trade by the charts, and that's what the charts look like here, is to to keep positioning up here higher. So I hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. Same thing across the board, and again the NASDAQ here, it looks fine. These are pretty normal pullbacks. In fact, you compare it to that's a real pullback. That's a real pullback. That's a real pullback. This is not deep, and that's a 50-day moving average. You would expect it to come down, hit that, and bounce. Generally speaking, here come down, 20-day bounce, that kind of thing. 20-day bounce, bounce, all that kind of stuff. So, we're gonna keep assuming this. And while I was more hopeful that we would get a much bigger upside reaction from NVDA, it's not over yet, of course. While I was hopeful that we would get a bigger upside reaction, we're really not getting a lot of downside reaction. NVIDIA's not going out of business, and they're making tons of money, right? So this is not a I don't think this is going to negatively affect the market too much, but we'll see. We'll see how it trades overnight and then tomorrow. So other than that, again, just keep your eye on if you're trading, of course. Again, I'm positioned long into bullish into the end of the year. I do have a little hedge on in January, and I'm size. You have to manage trades. You have to size, and I'm going to be much quicker to take profits or to to watch my risk on the downside as we go, because it does seem like the momentum has slowed down in the after the major move after the election, but the Trump trade is still in effect. There's going to be deregulation, tax cuts, all that kind of stuff is, he hadn't even taken office yet. So all this stuff, it leads us to higher prices, I believe. So anyway, that's what I've got for us today. Let's see what everything looks like tomorrow. If I can help, join me in the Simpler Trading in the main room or the bias room, either one. I'm in there all the time, and we're talking trading and looking at setups. So if I can help, let me know. I forgot to mention that I am going to be speaking at the Money Show in Sarasota, Florida, here December the 5th. It's December the 5th through the 7th. If you've never been to the Money Show, it's very cool, a lot of fun. I'm doing a session on butterfly trading for 2025, and I'm also doing a boot camp here for options trading. This will be, I believe this is with John Carter and Dan Passarelli. We're going to do a boot camp here. Really cool stuff. If you've never been to the Money Show, this is in Sarasota, Florida, December 5th through the 7th, and we've got a lot of really good speakers here. See if you recognize any of these people. There's John Carter from Simpler. There's me, and this is actually my wife. My wife is a technical analyst for Elliott Wave Trader. She'll be there. She's speaking as well. Trendy John here from Simpler. We're all going to be there. So try to make that if you can. It is going to be a really fun event. They always are. We just did one in Vegas a couple of months ago. But anyway, if you can make it, come see me. Thanks for the time, guys. I appreciate it. Hope to see you there. Take care.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me